Board of Selectmen meeting to order. Today is February 1st. Rabbit. If y'all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Terrific. I think there is an additional agenda item we're going to add on as a more of a clerical. Is that true?
Yes.
Does someone have that? It's a sign call, I believe.
Yeah, I'll do that first. To move to
Add.
item, we'd probably make it, it says 1B here.
I have
All right, 2H. Move to add,
two.
yeah,
It's gonna be
right
two.
here.
I
Yeah,
think.
move to add agenda item 2H hotel.
No, 2I.
2I.
We have an H.
Okay, that's right, we do. 2I. Move to add agenda 2I, sign call for a special town meeting to be held on February 15th, 2017.
Second?
Motion is second to add the sign call onto our agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? We'll add that on to the bottom of the meeting. We need the, oh, is there another?
Yes.
I apologize.
Okay, I would like to move to add to the agenda. This would now
Oh, yeah.
be J. What did you just add?
Aye.
I, so
And then
H-I-J.
PQRS, okay.
Item 2J, which would be appointment to fill the Commission on Aging vacancy.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? We'll add that as 2J, and that becomes the bottom of our meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Vacancy and sign call. Terrific. Are there any other additional agenda items? We're running out of paper. Consent calendar items to add? No?
No.
Delegations, would anyone from the public like to speak to the Board of Selectmen this evening? Mr. Bialowitz?
Good evening, Mr. Nicholson and other selectmen on the board. This is not directed to anybody, but my name is John Bialowitz Jr. of 61 Walnut Hill Road. I would like to make some comments on how the town operates. I've been storing this up for a long time. It's been bothering me for a while, so now I'm getting it off my chest. I'm starting the new year right. Stop spending money like it's water. Examples, Darrell's Pond. What happened to all the plans we had in place for that land? Over $4 million spent. We were supposed to have a water tank on that property, no more. Then we spent over $2 million to hook up to New London, Lake Conemaugh. The taxpayers in the north end have so much chlorine in the water you can't drink it or shower with it. The town could have found better water around Mustaway Lake. The lake is fed only by springs. What has the town done with that property? Not much. Then I'm going to the boardwalk. What happened to all the decking? How many bonds, etc., were built with it? Actually, how much did that boardwalk cost the taxpayers? The town should know. Why didn't they put in 1 or 2 fishing piers? I know people were asking about that when they were drawing it up and nothing came out of it. Now I'm going to talk on my road, Walnut Hill Road. It's only been 3 years since the solar farm has been in to fix the problems on our road. One thing is fix the blight on the road that is at 41 Walnut Hill Road. Fix all the curbings all the way to the solar farm. We were told many times that when the town's all done paving of the roads on Society Road, Lover's Lane, etc., ours will be done. We just have promises. Finish taking out all the old poles. Finish moving the wires. We still have our hole next to the pole at 61 Walnut Hill Road. Fill the hole in. Level the area to original grade. Loam and seed the area. I'm not going to do it. Landino Center Plan is supposed to pay for all the repairs as we were told many times. shut down the solar farm, and then we'll see how fast our road gets fixed to its original condition after it was paved and new curbing and everything. Center Plan still has many items to be finished, but they agreed with what they agreed with the state of Connecticut, the Siding Council, and the town of East Lyme to build a solar farm. I have a lot of comments to present to the Board of Selectmen later on. I have just 2 more to present to the Selectmen tonight, and I don't know yet about the commissions if I'm going to every meeting to speak my mind. I am going to voice my opinion. I should just visit my concerns to the Selectmen's meeting. I had a little outburst at the planning meeting on January 10th, 2010. As a taxpayer, you tell the commission or town about the violations and history about an area and land, and it seems like the commission doesn't want to hear you. Common sense goes sometimes further. It was very interesting how the developers' experts in the beginning had very different facts they presented to the commission to get it passed, but did a complete turnaround when I and others said that their facts were completely wrong, and the developers' experts agreed with us. It is very sad how our commissions are swayed. If one person can get away with it, so then everybody else should be able to. If someone opens up their mouth, they get branded because you are willing to speak out as a taxpayer. There are a lot of town employees that are helpful, understanding, and an asset to this town, but there's a few. So now I'm branded again. What's ever happened to our quaint little town? My final comment is about the ongoing erosion, sedimentation, and other damage to our tributary. Even after 1 inch of rain, the storm water management system at the solar farm fails, runs into our tributary that starts at the solar farm and still causes damage to our property. Our tributary is protected by the regulations of the town of East Lyme, the state of Connecticut, and also the federal government. I am going to bring this matter up about our tributary to your attention again and again until it's resolved with the help of the town, but definitely with the state of Connecticut and the federal government. I will bring more information about the solar farm and matters of the town to the taxpayers' attention. Also, I would like to have the answers to my questions and comments answered. Just don't ignore them. You think I'm going to forget about them, you're very, very wrong. I'm tired of this ongoing erosion, sedimentation, damage to our property, and the backdoor private talks in the town. Now probably I'm going to be harassed more, talked about by the town, and have some taxpayers mad. The truth hurts. There are laws about harassing someone and someone could lose their job by doing it. My grandmother's always told me, never trust a politician or someone with power because it goes to their head. We, the taxpayers, have the right under the First Amendment of freedom of speech, and more people should speak out because the taxpayers have rights too. We pay their wages, and almost all the above problems that I will continue to mention to the town was involved and agreed to it. The only thing it got the taxpayers more in debt and more taxes. And I would like to bring up another subject. I thought I was all done speaking about the matter, but a matter arose on January 31st, 2017 that I have to address now. I sent an email out at 9:22 a.m. saying, this is in reference to 57 Walnut Hill Road. I sent it to Mr. Nickerson, Gary, Joe, Bill Mulholland, and Bill Shears. I would like to have a bond reduction on my private driveway located on our property. The bond was too high to start with, not like other bonds other people put up, and with far worse conditions, violations already in place. The grass is already grown, and I just need to reseed it this year. If you would like to have pictures, I can show you some. All the major work is done, as seen by Gary and Bill Shears a few times. And Bill Shears said that he even drove past my driveway to see it was leaking on the road and everything, and he said there was not a drop on there. And Bill recommended a bond of only $1,000 to $1,500 to finish the job. I asked Gary what I need to finish the job with the town, and he mentioned an as-built plan to be done is needed. And then I got a reply by Mr. Nickerson, which I was surprised because I'm just following the town's regulations and what their wetlands enforcer told me to do. Everyone remain in place on this one. No reply. I would like to be part of this discussion before we respond positive or negatively. It's just that it's a shame that when somebody opens up their mouth, they get, ousted, they got a mark on their head and everything. And I'm just trying to develop my piece right now. I'm not going to develop, I'm just putting the driveway in there, just so when I die, my kids have something to do. So if I have a chance to sell it before then, I will, and then I'll travel around the world. But it's just that the idea is that I do not like the way this town has been signaling out that whatever I do, I gotta do more and everything, which I don't care, because what goes around comes around. And I'm just sick of it, and I'm just gonna keep voicing my opinion to this town until it stops or we get this resolved. And like I said about my tributary, I am going to keep pounding this town until it's done. The past administration really, I don't want to say nothing about it then. But it's just that I'll just hand you these letters and everything, and I'm just would like to have the town do their job this time and enforce their regulations. And I am going to give you their short version of their regulations to damage to your property and the long version. And not one word in those regulations, and I did read the whole regulations of the wetlands, and does not say one word that homeowners are responsible caused by somebody else's damage when their system fails and everything. So it's up to the town to remedy this situation with a solar farm. And if they don't want to do it, then there's my other alternatives that my attorney has told me already. I don't want to go that way, but if I have to, I will definitely do it that way. Because I'm tired of this. This has been going on for 3 years. And and that Landino got away with murder up there, and everybody knows it.
You can give all that to the recording secretary for the record, okay? Any, well, we can distribute after and get it into their packs. That might be more helpful. Anyone else like to speak to the commission this evening? Okay. Next is approval of the minutes, January 4th, 2017.
Move to approve the minutes of the meeting of January 4th, 2017 as submitted.
Second?
Any corrections or comments?
Yes, on page 4, 2G, under discussion, the final sentence in that paragraph. In the meantime, this is in regards to the expenditure from the Parahouse Fund. In the meantime, they, referring to the Commission on Aging, will look for funding to offset the cost of the new equipment. I believe that should be added in there. They will look for funding assistance from other town groups who also use the equipment. I believe the way that it is worded now would imply that the commission is going to go out and seek funding. And my intent was to say, and I'll repeat it again, I'd like it changed to for funding assistance from other town groups who also use the equipment, which was the discussion at the Commission on Aging meeting.
Okay.
Since I moved it, I'm fine with that.
Thank you.
On page 1,
Mhm.
paragraph of my delegation, 1988 should be 1982 for my date of employment at Electrical.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Since I
Okay.
moved it, I'm fine with that as well.
All right, so we have a motion that's been amended and corrected, and is there a second?
Yes, I
Sec-
did. Did you
second.
say?
Who was the second? Okay, okay, Mark had it.
Mark that.
So, as amended? As
Yep.
amended?
Yep.
So we have minutes that have been corrected, and we have a second. Any other comments, corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Terrific. There is a consent calendar this evening.
Move to approve the consent calendar for the meeting of February 1st, 2017, in the amount of $6,038.66.
Second?
Any comments? Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? We move on to the new business this evening. There are a couple of items from the Commission on Aging, our senior center, and Mrs. Wilson's here to help us get through the first couple items. The first one is the special appropriation of $62,000 on the Commission on Aging, the 5310 DOT, Department of Transportation transfer, grant, I should say. Basically, this is the state requires, well, you know, we received a $49,600 grant. And Kathy, why don't you come on up, because if nothing else, we should put you on camera. Because you're not camera shy, I know. Mrs. Wilson, as you all know, is the senior center director. She's terrific. How long have you been at the job?
20-plus years.
Congratulations and thank you for your service. You do remarkable work over there. And you did apply for a grant, and you received the grant, and it's a promise from the state to pay us this money.
That is correct.
But in order to get the bus, we have to actually appropriate the whole amount.
In case the payment doesn't come before the bus.
Okay.
So in order for us to receive the bus, we have to have the money, the entire amount of money. And just in case that the state check doesn't come before the arrival of the vehicle.
And that's typical of grants where there's cost sharing, and that we would appropriate the whole amount and then receive the money back. So this is a 12-passenger, 2-wheelchair bus, and this replaces a bus. We're not adding a bus to the fleet.
We're not adding a bus to the fleet. What we're doing is we're replacing a Ford van, which is more of a residential vehicle.
Okay.
So that will come out of the senior center fleet, and we're going to maintain the vehicle, one of the current vehicles that has the higher mileage. We'll put that as a backup vehicle, so we'll still only run 2 vehicles. But what happens now is every time we have scheduled maintenance, which is quarterly, anytime we have something unexpected happen, when a vehicle comes out, we only have the van to have a replacement vehicle, and we are just so ridiculously busy lately that we can't run with just one vehicle, and the van is very difficult for folks to get in and out of.
For those citizens that aren't seniors, you do more than just bingo over there. You really, and you and I, we speak weekly, we really talk often about the fact that you've turned into a transportation department.
Well, that's one of our,
One of many.
one of many.
One of many. But, and I didn't realize this just as a citizen just a couple of years ago, but yeah, you are tend to be responsible for getting many of our seniors in town to the grocery store, to doctor's appointments, back to the senior center for events. So we have many drivers, and we have these buses going all over town all the time.
All the time.
And it's the lifeline for our seniors in town. So I'm really happy that you got this grant, and if there are any questions from the commission, I'll open it up for questions. Anyone?
I have one minor question on the agreement that we would be entering with the state regarding records that have to be made. Who's responsible to make
Oh,
those
that'd
quarterly
be me.
reports? Okay,
That's
thank you. I
me.
just wasn't sure.
That's
who.
our department, yes.
Thank you.
The newest member of the Board of Selectmen does that.
That's great. Any other questions? We can take a motion and then,
Have a resolution, move to appropriate $62,000 in CNRE Fund 32 for the purchase of a new 12-passenger and 2-wheelchair bus to be utilized at the senior center. Delivery expected between July to October 2017 to an account to be established titled COA DOT 5310 bus as follows. $49,000 from the Connecticut Department of Transportation 5310 grant, and to transfer the town share in the amount of $12,400 from Fund 32, account number 32-70-300-500-100, town project allocations, and forward to the Board of Finance for approval, and this will require a town meeting.
Second.
Motion second. Any further questions? I have one. What? Anna?
I believe
And Anna, you're not a microphone, so I'll have to repeat your question.
state grant.
It's 49.6, yes. Yes.
49.
All right, I'll change that to 49,600.
Thank you.
Got it. All right. So thank you for that catch. So the grant is 49,600.
And I'll resecond.
And we've cleared up all the motions in the second. One question is, what happens if the state doesn't give you the grant money?
Then we run the vehicles that we have.
Do we purchase the bus? I mean, we're committing to the purchase of the bus, so is the
I
state?
think that's tied to the grant funding, though. If the funding dries
Yeah.
up, I don't think we're on the hook for that.
Okay, all right. I just, the state the way it is and pulling promises back, I didn't know if we're gonna be stuck with the $62,000 bill if the state doesn't come up with their 49.6.
I think we can refuse delivery.
Okay, all right.
It's not like building a school.
I think so too. That's how I feel. Any other questions? I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Terrific. I guess there's 3 items tonight.
Yes, there
So,
are. There are.
My
They're
bad.
quick, though. They're quick.
Yeah, they are, and I promised Mr. Newton they'd be quick. The Senior Center just gone into this, remember the registration software rec pack that we all approved last year? It's a way for people to sign up for programming online and then pay by, I think, credit card or debit. It was new to you, and you weren't quite sure of all that.
That's not exactly correct.
Okay.
So RecTrack is a registration software that we share with the Park and Rec
The Park and
Department
Rec.
and the Youth Center. So we've had that for probably 5 or 6 years.
Oh, okay.
In the last year is what they call WebTrack, which is now you can register online. And right next week, we're going through a rather large upgrade where the server will no longer be in the Park and Rec office. It's going to be all on the Vermont Systems, who is the company that developed RecTrack. It's going to be on their internet, cloud, whatever.
Cloud thing,
So there's a big upgrade going on. And when this budget, what they were currently in, for some reason I just missed that this upgrade was happening. So I budgeted, I think, $700 in my account to help pay for this when it wasn't quite 700. It was a little bit more than that. So
Like 1848.
yeah, it was
89.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
So you're 1,200 short.
Yes.
The Commission on Aging gave the approval to take $1,200, up to $1,200 out of the Nicholas Parahouse account, which is kind of an endowment fund that you
Correct.
have at the senior center. And they have to approve before we approve, and if they approve, generally we do approve.
Correct.
So that's the motion before us tonight.
Move to authorize the use of $1,200 in the Nicholas Parahouse Fund to reimburse Parks and Recreation for payment of the Commission on Aging portion of the annual maintenance fee for RecTrack.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? One more, Mrs. Wilson.
All right, Mr.
I like
Nickerson.
calling you Mrs. Wilson. It's something different. Commission on Aging meeting, also the Commission on Aging approved expenditure for the Parahouse account for $1,400 for desk and office furniture. If you've been in the office suite, can I call it an office suite? Yeah, it's exactly
You
what it is.
can call it that. That might be a little
There is
luxurious.
a room to the left as you enter, and that we use that for more storage and copy machines, or maybe the coffee machine went in there. It's going to turn into an office because
Yes.
that with demographics changing, especially in this town, but all throughout Connecticut, senior center is getting real busy. So we want to spread the people out, maybe even make room for volunteers to
Correct.
come in and help you out.
Correct.
So $1,400 from the Parahouse account to purchase desks for the senior staff is what's being requested.
I'll move to authorize the expenditure of up to $1,400 from the Powerhouse account to purchase a new desk for the senior center staff.
I'll second.
That's awesome. And are there any questions? Just keep on doing what you're doing, Kathy. You're doing a great job, and thanks to your staff as well. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstained? Thank you, and you can go home and have a late dinner, I guess.
Thank you, everyone, thank you.
Early breakfast.
Thank you for
Mr.
coming.
Nickerson, before we move on, I'd like to go back to item 2A while Ms. Wilson is still here regarding the agreement. And I had highlighted this section on page 4 of the agreement. The top line, the second party, meaning East Lyme, may order the project equipment in advance of receipt of a fully executed agreement in order to expedite delivery. However, this is taken entirely at the risk of East Lyme. And then the state, further down under number 7, it says the state will issue payment within 15 business days. So in terms of your saying we could refuse acceptance, perhaps in the agreement, the sales agreement, it should be stated subject to receipt of funds so that it's very clear that we will have to renege on the order if we don't get the money. Particularly where it says entirely at the risk of the second
Could you
party.
read that whole paragraph again for me?
The second party.
Page 4
Page 4 at the
on
top.
the top. So
The second party may order the project equipment in advance of receipt of a fully executed agreement in order to expedite delivery.
But if we don't do that, Roseanne, would that, because it says that we may do that if we choose to, but if we don't choose to,
But you have to submit the documentation that you are doing that. So anyway, I just
Okay.
think this action shall be taken entirely at the risk of the second party. So I think in terms of the sales agreement, that should be included in there, so there's no question about the fact that we may not be able to complete the deal if we do not get the money, because there's a 15-day interval there.
has the grant been awarded? Indeed. I mean, we've fully qualified and got
Yes,
a
yes,
gift
yes.
letter.
yes.
It's probably a fear that I shouldn't even have brought up, but I just, living in this
Exactly.
state of affairs we're in, the state government, it's top of mind all the time, especially as I'm delivering the budget tonight. If we could put a clause in that, if that's possible, we could talk to town attorney on that.
And I can also ask for clarification from the contact at the
Yes.
DOT.
That we do have towns are fully making decisions based on gift letters or grant letters and receipts. So I would hope at least those are being honored.
Thank you,
It's a
and
good
Yep,
point,
yep.
Mrs.
I
Harvey.
apologize for not bringing this up at the time, but
That's
it took me a few minutes to go back and find it.
Okay.
I will follow up on that.
Sorry for going so
Thank you.
fast. Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
good? All right. The last item before the presentation from the Board of Education, and they're waiting patiently, and I thank you, is the accepting land transferred from the state of Connecticut and authorizing the first selectman to sign a boundary line agreement. If you've been up on, I believe it is Walnut Hill Road, I know we have one citizen here tonight from there. It is Walnut Hill Road. Over the last 2 years, a stone and mortar retaining wall right on the edge of the, did you folks get a picture in your packet?
Yes.
Good. So you know, if you've driven up there at all or gotten calls from citizens, you know the situation. The road went right into a stone wall, and then behind that is a stream or a wetland. And we can't rebuild that wall with a